Hello and welcome to Action Teacher Video. Video is a powerful tool that teachers are using to reflect on their own practice and to communicate new ideas. In this series, we feature videos produced by teachers themselves and discuss the contents and implications here in the studio. In this programme, we'll be looking at an innovative approach to PSHE teaching in Merkiston Castle School, captured on camera by teacher Gail Cordner and called Sixth Form Tutorial System. I'm delighted to be joined in the studio by Gail Cordner. Gail, hello and welcome.
Hello.
Joining Gail is another teacher with some similar interests and concerns from Kingsmeadow Comprehensive School, Catherine Stevenson. Catherine, hello and welcome. I'm also delighted to introduce a consultant and frequent contributor to Teachers TV, Adrian Jones. Hello and welcome. Firstly, Gail, I wonder if you could tell me a bit about your aims for the video that you produced.
Well, I've been part of the Sixth Form Tutorial System, tutoring boys for the past 2 years, and as part of my CPD, I wanted to get them before they left school to reflect on what had happened and how they'd benefited from the system, so that I could feed that in as I start afresh on the scheme at the start of this year. This is Merkiston, a boarding school for boys aged 8 to 18, situated 20 minutes outside of Edinburgh. I'm a teacher of IT at Merkiston and part of the Sixth Form Tutorial System, a system which was developed to give each boy a single point of contact, his tutor, for the duration of his sixth form, for academic and pastoral matters. Boys are involved in choosing their tutor, normally somebody who teaches a subject of particular interest to them, somebody who they can relate to well.
Well, ICT was my main A-level that I chose to do, and so I wanted to have a tutor that was there so she could advise me with extra help and be there for any support I might need. She'd also know what workloads I'd be doing because she was my teacher, and so she'd understand what sort of work I'd be doing and how my time would be used while doing that subject.
The tutorial system aims to ensure that here at Merkiston there is at least one person who knows them really well, somebody who they can go to for support in the hard times and who can also cheer them along in their successes.
Excellent clearance by end of there, 175. 185 is the school record. So really within Ed's grasp today.
As your tutor is your teacher at the same time, you can help. It helps you get on a one-to-one basis and a more friendly basis, and just being your teacher you can communicate better, and so you feel you can talk to your tutor more because you have that, like, it's more than a teacher, more of a friendly aspect of it, the friendly side.
Most of the time, yeah, it's very relaxed. However, on occasions if the tutor needs to sort of give you a bit of a nudge to do some work, like for example I did or A-level English, and it involved a lot of summer reading and I was a bit behind, and she kind of pulled me aside and said that you need to really catch up and get ahead of this, and then I wasn't able just to ignore her because she checked up the week later and I had to sort of give her a description of the books, so it helped me a lot because without that then I probably wouldn't have done it. So it can be relaxed, but it also can be quite serious at times, which is definitely a good thing.
Academically, I'll meet with my tutees on a regular basis to look at how they're doing, how they think they're doing, and where improvements could be made to set some targets for the coming weeks.
For every half term we get given report cards that have assessments from all our teachers and from all the subjects that we're taking, and then we sit on a one-on-one meeting with our tutor and we go through them and look at the comments that are given and the grades that are given for every lesson that you're in, and you discuss them with your teachers and with your tutor, and you assess them and see how you can improve on them for the next term, and you do a self-assessment of how you think you've progressed through the term.
She'll also be able to explain being a teacher, what certain teachers are meaning and how you can improve. She'll also be able to generally just point you in the right direction if you're slightly lost.
But it's not just for our report cards. We can come in any time when we need help with, say, our UCAS forms. When we're doing our application forms, we can come in any time to ring up universities to make sure everything's going right.
As a tutor, I help boys with the university application process, from researching courses in universities to filling in the actual form, and I act as their referee at the end of the UCAS process.
University kind of creeps up on you, so your tutor helps you a lot on that one-to-one basis of describing how everything happens, how you can apply for how everything works, because no one's done it before, no one knows what's going on really. And your tutor helps a lot because they've been at university, they know exactly how everything works.
She's seen boys in our position come through, and she's seen what university has benefited them, which area they specialise in, and so she's been able to use her experience for her new duties every year.
One of the main parts of the UCAS form is your personal statement and your reference. Like, the tutor has to know you well enough to write your reference and to help me write my own personal statement on the UCAS form.
Yeah, it does help. We're all close friends, but with the TUT, sometimes we have group TUT meetings, and then we know each other's levels of work. And say if we're in the boarding house and the TUT's not always there, we can help each other, and we know that we're all having problems, and it gives us a bit more confidence that you don't kind of go in a little shell and worry about your work in between yourself. You can talk to your friends, and you know that everyone else has the work problems, and everyone else finds it hard, not just you. Or you kind of can help you more interact on a different level, an academic level, in that way.
Because when we had the tutor system, every week we've been setting targets, or whenever we've met, we've had set targets with work and deadlines when we have things done. So hopefully when I'm at university, having experienced these deadlines and knowing that there's someone there pushing me, hopefully this would have encouraged me to be able to do it by myself, which I'm sure from that, or even I know that from the end of school, I wasn't really needing my tutor to check up on the deadlines, because I was wanting to work and I was wanting to get everything done on time.
Next year.
It's not next year!
Gail, what did you learn from making this video?
I learned a lot about the way that they viewed the tutor system. So they saw it as a very relaxed thing, whereas I would have thought that they saw it as more academic than being pushed. So it was good to see that they appreciated the informal nature of it. I also learnt a lot about the way that they related to each other because of it. Hadn't necessarily expected that they would have found that it made them closer as a group and able to speak to each other on a different level.
It was quite clear with the video that the students are working independently, but how do you balance that in terms of tracking their progress?
Well, there's certainly a half-termly report card which is filled out with just brief grades and comments from teachers, and then the emphasis is on them to do a self-assessment, which we get them to do separately without looking at the teacher's comments, so we can then see if the two tie up and see if they are able to assess correctly how they're doing.
But is it right that the pupils themselves pick their tutor initially?
Yes, they will pick a tutor depending on a subject interest of theirs, generally someone that teaches a subject that they maybe want to pursue when they leave school, and someone who they feel that they can relate to, that they know.
ICT was my main A-level that I chose to do, and so I wanted to have a tutor that was there so she could advise me with extra help and be there for any support I might need. She'd also know what workloads I'd be doing, because she was my teacher, and so she'd understand what sort of work I'd be doing and how my time would be used while doing that subject.
Quite interesting the way they've picked the tutor and how they talk together about what they want from the tutor. What do you think about this system?
Well, I wanted to ask Gail about whether that's fraught with dangers. I mean, is it because you're a popular teacher that you get picked by certain students, or they like the look of you, or, you know, how does that work?
It tends to be done by departments, and they're told that there's no guarantee of, you know, a first choice of tutor, because obviously teachers can opt into the scheme as well, and not every teacher is part of the system, and teachers will have a particular limit of how many tutees they want. So they have to give it by first choice of department, second choice of department, going along generally the subjects that they study.
And can I bring you in, Catherine, on the whole area of pastoral care and tutor groups? I mean, is this similar to what goes on in your school?
In many respects, we have a panoply of pastoral strategies in place. everything from what's called the BEST team, Behaviour and Education Support Team, which includes a nurse, psychologist. We also have house spaces. Every child is a member of one of 3 houses in school, and within there's a head of house, deputy head of house, there's administrative staff. And we also have, of course, the form tutor. That's the first port of call usually.
Do you see anything very distinctive or very different from watching Gail's video there?
Well, this is Key Stage 5 and they are in the upper 6. So perhaps it's slightly different since they are older and they can choose the member of staff that they would like. We have nearly 800 children and members of staff take the role of form tutor with about some small groups, 25 up to 30 pupils. So we can't say to 800 pupils, which tutor would you like? There'd be a few problems.
With the tutee, sometimes we have group tutee meetings, and then we know each other's levels of work, and say if we're in the boarding house and the tutee's not always there, we can help each other, and we know that we're all having problems, and it gives us a bit more confidence that you don't kind of go in a little shell and worry about your work in between yourself. You can talk to your friends, and you know that everyone else has the work problems, and everyone else finds it hard, not just you. Or you kind of can help you interact on a different level, an academic level, in that way.
Gail, this is obviously an interesting dynamic here. You're preparing children, well, they're not really children, they're nearly adults, well, they are adults, in relating to each other and dealing with problems.
It's not something I really expected, but it's something that I've learned from doing the video. And if I hadn't done the video and spoken to the boys and asked them to reflect and evaluate, it might never have come out that actually they feel that they can relate to one another on an academic level, as Hamish says there. And that's obviously a great benefit to them if they can do that.
It's quite a gift, actually, having that insight. And I just wondered whether you found that the insights that the students have given you a different view on, or a different perspective on school life.
I've seen it through their eyes in a way that I wouldn't have if I hadn't been doing this project. I would never have taken that time at the end of their 2 years to ask them really what they'd felt about the whole process.
You started off saying that this was for your own personal CPD, but what do you think are the wider potential, wider implications for this?
Well, I think certainly this video can be used within our school in order to show people how the system works and help them become better tutors too. And perhaps anyone who's watching who is in that pastoral responsibility, they will be able to see a pupil's view on that relationship and the importance of the relationship with a teacher or an adult in that position.
Well, I'm afraid that's a good point to end on, but I'm sure that this will provoke much more discussion. You can, of course, find out more from our website at teachers.tv. And it only remains for me to say thank you to our teacher producer, Gail Cordner, thank you, and guest Catherine Stevenson, and of course, Adrian Jones. Please join us again on Action Teacher Video. And in the meantime, from me, Xanthi Steen, goodbye.